Hey, my name is Marcus, and I want to tell you a story about how my dad told everyone that he had cancer and he had to raise money for it. But in the end, it turned out to be a lie. My dad came home and told my brother, my mom, and me that he had some bad news. And he told us that he was diagnosed with terminal cancer and only had a few months to live. When my mom heard this, it really broke her heart, and she cried when she heard about the news. So afterwards, we started a GoFundMe page to help raise money for my dad's treatment. Our goal was to reach up to $20,000. And within a month, we raised up to $23,000, which came from mostly our friends, family, and people that we never even heard of. And we were hoping that with all this money we raised, it could help my dad fight off his cancer treatment. Or at least, that's what we thought. A few days later, 2 police officers came to our doorstep and arrested my dad without any question. During the trial, my mom had stated that she became very suspicious when she couldn't find my dad's medical records to back up his claims. And when he was questioned by the police, telling that he was going to produce the records, which he never did, investigators also got a research warrant and found out that my dad never had cancer, and my dad was pleaded guilty to theft. Dad had used the $23,000 that we had raised on the GoFundMe site. He used it to pay off debts, video games, whiskey, and gambling. And what my dad did was wrong. The fact that he took advantage of so many people. And to this day, I'm still angry at him. And personally, I think people need to think twice before they do these kind of things, because one day karma will get them eventually. GoFundMe had also said that misuse is rare on their site, but if it happens, they could just refund people's donations. Hello there, my name is Damien, and I am 24 years old. And I'm gonna tell you a story about how I sold one of the rarest Pokemon cards ever made to Pawn Stars for $1 million. And I know you all can guess which card it is by now. Or at least some of you do. Yup, you guessed it. First edition base set Charizard. It all started when me and my dad were cleaning out the attic. But when we were cleaning, something caught my eye. I found an old book there. I thought it was just a photo book of my dad's old photos from high school. But when I opened the book, my mouth dropped wide open. Inside the book, were Pokemon cards. And wow, it just blew my mind. But one of the cards in that book that caught my eye the most was that first edition Charizard. It was just so beautiful when I held it in my hand. The star-like holographic patterns on it. There were no scratches or dents. It was perfect. I checked online to see how much the card is actually worth, and I was shocked. I saw the card go up for like 10,000, 5,000, 50,000. It was insane how many people were trying to get their hands on this item. And I even saw one listing that someone was asking for a graded Gem Mint 10 Charizard for $1 million. I showed my dad, and he was quite surprised too. And he agreed on the idea of selling it. The next day, I placed the card into a top loader and sleeve and mailed it to PSA. And within a week later, I received the card. And it came out a Gem Mint 10. I told my dad that we should sell the card online. But he had another idea in mind. We went all the way to Las Vegas to a pawn shop. The store owner examined the card and offered to give us $1 million off of it. Me and my dad afterwards decided to split the money in half. My dad's planning to use that money to open a restaurant. And as for me, I'm planning on using that money to attend a university.
Hi, I'm Annie, and just like every other teenage girl around here, I'm in high school. I am known for being a straight-A student. And yeah, I know it sounds like I'm bragging, but it's true. I also plan on attending a university after I finish high school. The job that I always wanted to do is to be a teacher, because I love to teach. And it's always been my dream ever since I was little. But one day, my straight-A record had been broken when I got a B on one of my assignments. It all happened last year. My teacher, Mr. Jones, was handing back our assignments from last week, and what I saw nearly gave me a heart attack. I got a B on my work. I remember I worked really hard for this assignment, and I get this? After, I asked Mr. Jones if I could talk to him after class, and he agreed. I explained to him that I was not pleased with my grade, and if there was a way that I could get it from a B to an A. I told him that I could do anything to get it. He told me to do things for him, and one of those things was doing his shopping list. I was like, are you serious? Doing a teacher's groceries? But at the same time, I thought it would be easy, and of course, I agreed. So I made my way to the store. I bought a whole lot of stuff that were on the list, like milk, eggs, flour, butter, cupcakes, candy, hamburgers, pizza, hot dogs, balloons. Was Mr. Jones throwing some kind of party or something? So I came back with all the stuff. Mr. Jones was very pleased, and I asked him what was this all for. But all he responded was, it's a surprise. I asked him about the A+, but he said, that will have to wait. He then told me he wanted me to clean up the whole classroom after school and wanted everything to be clean and spotless. He said he couldn't do it because he had a big date that night. After that, I was finally done, and whoo boy, I was exhausted. But I was happy when I finally came back home. When I finally got home, my parents gave me stern looks and asked me where I was, and how come I missed dinner, and I responded, I just had to finish some assignments for other classes, and I was studying. But it just felt so weird to me doing a teacher's jobs and stuff just to boost up my grade. The next day, Mr. Jones approached me again and asked me to go get some fruits, drinks, and paint, and he also asked me to get a banner. And once again, I agreed to do it, but I'm still wondering why he needed all these things for anyway. And again, he was pleased. But he still didn't give me my A. At this point, I was furious. I felt like I was a slave to my teacher after everything I did for him, and I don't get my reward. Then, an idea popped into my head. I was going to stay overnight at school, but first, I needed to get his keys. Create a distraction to get Mr. Jones' attention, which worked. Then I wait inside my locker until the whole school was empty, and then head into Mr. Jones's office. I was hoping to try to find answers, but then I saw the supplies, the food, and the banner saying, "Farewell, Mr. Laritate." The principal? The whole time, he was planning a farewell party for Mr. Laritate? It all made sense now. A few weeks had passed, and the class was preparing the gym for the party. I ran to Mr. Laritate's office, and I told him there was a fight going on in the hallway. "Those troublemakers are causing enough damage to this school. When I find those meddling students, I give them a piece of my mind. In fact, I give them a lot more than that. I was a champion bantamweight boxer at university, and I still know a couple moves. Take this and that!" I was trying not to laugh. He was furious and ran to the gym as fast as he could. When he entered the room, he yelled, "Okay, what's this about a fight I'm hearing about?" And then all the lights went on. "Surprise!" everyone shouted. Mr. Laritate was very surprised. Oh my, good golly, Miss Molly, a farewell party for me? Oh, you shouldn't have, Annie. Did you plan all of this? He asked. Well, it was Mr. Jones' idea, really. Michael, is this true? He was trying hard to smile. I told him, yeah, it was my idea. But it was actually Annie who helped me out. Boy, you should have seen his face. And then the party began. We all had a great time. All the delicious food there, dancing. And Mr. Jones finally gave me the A+ he promised me. So I guess this means I will be attending university after all. Regina, a sophisticated and popular girl that all the guys have their eyes on. Everyone would say, pretty and sassy and rich. That can only be Regina. I live a life that everyone envies, and I come from a well-to-do family. I get what I want, and I have people pleasing me all the time. And I am pretty much the center of attention too. But my secret is that Regina is fake. Someone I pretend to be. My real name is Janice, and I grew up with nothing. I created this persona in the online world, where no one knows my true identity, or that I come from a broken home. I grew up in the slums with an alcoholic father and a mother who has a gambling addiction. The best days would be when my parents would not argue with each other, until I began using Facebook and Instagram for the first time. I found people that I admired and wanted to be like. So yes, I created a new identity and faked the life that I have always wanted. This is the persona of Regina, a girl living her best life, a life everyone wants, always flying in first class, and would mostly reside in foreign countries instead of my own. She'd always eat at the best restaurants, go shopping in a fancy sports car. In that world, I could be who I want to be. I even have followers and admirers, which makes me feel really happy. But the problem is, I'm too good to be true, so I can never get close to anyone, until Harvey walked into my life. Harvey is a handsome and rich guy. We started talking for a while until he asked me out for dinner, and that was the first time we met in person. I memorized all the luxury menus and how to act like a posh girl. "I can do it," I said. And he and I got along really well, and I never thought I would experience a day like this. And at the end of the meal, he asked me to be his girlfriend. He wanted to drop me off, but I refused and told him that my parents would send a driver to pick me up and he should leave. "Regina?" I heard a familiar voice calling my name as I was going into my house. I quickly turned around and saw Harvey looking at me in disgust. "Is this your house? I thought you came from money." "Harvey, please. My real name is Janice, but I'm still Regina." "You lied to me? If you didn't forget your wallet at the restaurant, I wouldn't have followed you. I don't care if you have money or not, but I can't handle liars. Bye, Regina," he said as he turned on his heel and sternly walked away. Did you like this story? Subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like and comment on this video.